Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. It's Call Me Cookie. Before we get started, please hit that like button and be sure to click subscribe to be updated whenever I drop new content. What we'll be discussing today is liquidations on Drift Protocol. More specifically, we'll be looking at the contributing factors that can lead to a liquidation, but most importantly, we'll discuss what to look at on your Drift account to manage the risk of liquidation and hopefully avoid a situation like that from ever coming up to begin with. The inspiration for the video today comes from a comment left by GPorgyB on my last Drift Protocol video. Can you explain the risk of liquidation? How does it work? As an example, correct me if I'm wrong, your entry is 18 some odd dollars with the liquidation price of $60. So if the price of the perp goes to $60 from $18, will the entire account get wiped out? Like, will I lose everything, even the balance that isn't involved in the trade, or only the value that's involved in the trade? Porgy, thank you so much for your comment. I encourage you, ask any more questions that you have after this video, and that invitation extends to everybody. So a couple of really quick and easy things to address for you, Porgy, is that, yeah, depending on the situation and the amount of risk that your position poses to the Drift protocol, they'll take every single dollar that you have deposited onto the Drift account. Now, while that may sound scary, bear with me here and we'll walk through exactly how Drift would see your account in one of those extreme situations, and of course, the information that is presented to us to make sure that that never happens to begin with. First things first, take a look right below the video capture of me. You'll see that Drift allows me to break out my trading into multiple sub-accounts. My main sub-account has a total value of $660, while for the sake of our demonstration today, I made a demo account and loaded it up with $100 in value. Each one of our accounts has a metric that contributes to its overall health. A really easy way to think about it is the amount of money that's held on your account versus the amount of money that's tied up in a position, and whether or not those positions are in the green or if they're in the red. Let's take a quick look at the account health for my main account. We see here that I'm pretty damn far away from any risk of liquidation because the entire account has a health factor of 92%. I see my liabilities. I have a $240 position open in Bonk, a $175 position open in Sol, and a $190 position open in BTC. So those are my liabilities. Those are what I am at risk of losing. Now, hopefully I end up winning, but until I cash out for a win or a loss, they're still being considered a risk, a liability to the platform and to my account, most important. Now, to make things as simple as possible, how do we wrap our minds around risk? Risk and risk of liquidation really comes down to leverage. Leverage really comes down to whose money are you putting at risk of loss. On our demo account, we have $100 deposited. If I want to make a $50 bet on the price of the Bonk perp going down, that puts me at 0.5 or 50% leverage because I'm only using half of my own funds. That's all I'm putting at risk is my own money. Now, if we go to calculate, we're going to see that my entry price will be around $14.50, which makes my liquidation price about $40. Now, what if I decide to leverage 100% of the money that I've deposited onto this account? So that would be $100 on this short perp. You're going to see here that while my entry price is going to be the same, $14.50, that liquidation price shot down from $40 to $26. That's a massive difference, right? Now, let's go further out on the risk curve. Let's not only put up all of my own money, let's also put Porgy's money at risk or another trader on Drift Protocol's money at risk. Let's put $200 on this perp trade. Now you're going to see that while that entry price is still $14.50, our liquidation price has slammed down a lot more to $20 because you're putting other people, including the Drift protocol itself, at risk. And in order for Drift to make sure that if you lose, you're actually forced to pay up, it needs to liquidate you sooner. Because let's say that this perp market becomes completely volatile, just completely moons, and the price moves against the short. Let's say that within a 5-minute period, the liquidation price threshold is blown out. Instead of going to your liquidation price of $20, the price of the bonk perp goes to $25. Drift on the back end has systems and tooling and mechanics that are going to manage the liquidation, but those are computers, those are bots, and the bots can only work so fast. So what if the bot isn't able to actually process your liquidation in time to only make sure that the amount of money that was set to be taken from you in the event that the liquidation was triggered at just $20? What if it can't catch it in time? Again, that price moves all the way up to $25 and then another bot actually catches that liquidation. Well, then the bot will have to use the funds that aren't only tied up in that particular trade, but the rest of the collateral that is on your account. And because of the cross margin feature, if all of the $100 that are on my demo gets taken by that liquidation bot, but that $100 isn't enough, it may need to reach into the collateral that's left on my main account. Another thing to remember here, just to wrap things up, is that your loss is somebody else's gain. No matter when your position is closed by force, whatever you owe needs to get paid up, and it will. And if you can't, that leaves the protocol with a hole on its balance sheet. And you'll hear these type of terms like when banks can't pay their depositors, or you can't withdraw funds from the bank because there was a hole created in that balance sheet where they had an obligation to pay some amount of debt or some other liability, and some value on their balance sheet, some value of an asset that they held, moved so fast against them that when you came to force them to sell that asset, the difference between the value in that asset and what you're forcing them to give you is out of whack. So I hope that this explanation does a good job of encapsulating exactly what can contribute to a liquidation on one's account, and some of the ways that we can think about reducing our risk of liquidation. Make sure that if you're going to put on a $500 trade on Drift, have $2,000 deposited into your Drift account. That's going to play into your liquidation price. Are you using leverage? Think about leverage. Think about the amount of money that you have on your account that's just hanging around as padding. All of those things in connection are going to create an environment that can either increase or decrease your likelihood of liquidation. So with that, guys, I will leave you. Thank you very much for joining me if you stuck around this far, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.